Fridays off to school and work, waiting for some fun while my boss acts like a jerk. Pro show afternoons, midnight sketch can't come too soon. Afternoon sketch can't come too soon. But at night I'm filled with dread. I know just what I'll do instead. Come on and follow me. It's time you see for Lorn and Apollo. Time to laugh and learn. Come feel the burn of what the fandom was. What random fun doesn't escape? Isn't it great? Late night with Lorn and Apollo.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to see you all after a couple of show hiatus while we were in the South Carolina area for the Southeast Game Exchange. That was kind of a rowdy week that had all kinds of adventuring going on at the time.
Sure was.
Also, we have in the background, popping in right now, Martin Stone. There's all kinds of stories that we can tell about our week over there. I've already kind of relayed my travel adventure on Marv's channel last night, but we can go over that again if we want to. Kevin is going to try to be here tonight. I saw some of you in the chat asking if he was going to be. He had a little bit of a hard day today, and so it's likely that he's going to be popping in and also leaving early. That's mainly just to take care of himself and his health, so he's still kind of battling some of that stuff. But we are all glad to see you. It's been a couple of weeks, and we've missed all of you. Marv, how are you feeling after getting back home?
I'm feeling good. I'm finally getting caught back up with everything. It's been a crazy couple of days just getting back into the flow after being gone for so long. So yeah, you know, it's going well. The special order that I got for my wife arrived yesterday. I ordered her like this Pokemon thing. The guy didn't have the one that I wanted, so he let me order it. Ships to my house.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I didn't know you'd done that.
Yep, I did that. I have to find space on my wall for all of like the signs and stuff that I bought, because I bought like all these like different like wall hangings to go on my wall. So
I didn't know you'd bought a bunch of merch. So for those who don't know, we were at Southeast Game Exchange in South Carolina. We were debuting a beta version of a game that Pro has put together called Zax, and we were demoing it while we were on the floor. Marvin was actually participating in several different panels and hung out with Carol quite a bit. Pro put on panels with Fake Wizard and Critical Drinker. They had a show floor where they were selling all kinds of retro consoles and games and other merch like you have at these kind of conventions. It was a great time, but we were all technically working. And so in some ways, I didn't really get to see you that much while I was there.
No, and I realized that because you were at the Zax booth for most of it, and I was like all over the place. Like I had to be like in a million different places. But the I feel like really happy though that we got to meet so many people from the Pro community. I got to see a lot of people from the G&G community, and yeah, a lot of people came out to this event. It was a great event, and you know, a lot of fun was had by all. I very much enjoyed the experience, and yeah, I you know, stayed at the hotel. You stayed at the content house.
Yep. With
everybody. I stayed at the hotel with Wizard and Caro and Carolyn and Kata and a bunch of others. But the hotel, I don't regret that, because the hotel was right across the street from the convention center.
Yep, makes it nice. I was really happy with where we stayed. One night we all got together for dinner at one place. All of the places were packed. We had to kind of elbow our way into a restaurant with 25 people. It was Cheddar's down there, and God love them, the management actually took care of us.
I still think that Fuddruckers would have worked out fine.
It doesn't matter. We had great food and all got to spend a bunch of times. It got a little rowdy. Spitballs were thrown in my direction. I wasn't aware that I was the target. So
yes, they were thrown in your direction, but then ended up hitting Carolyn.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to take revenge for some of that because I didn't know
Mhm.
that they were aiming at me. So I'll figure that out. It's my wrath is slow and patient, so
It is.
I'll take some time to figure it out. Martin,
Still
how have you
baffles me
been?
that grown men were throwing spitballs. So you would think at least Jonas was raised better than that.
Well, let me explain. The second day,
No,
understand
Jonas was at our table. He wasn't throwing anything.
Yeah.
Barrett,
Jonas actually got up and like walked to the other table, which contained like Pro and Culture and Tom and all them, and he did like the dad thing of like, the guys, do we really need to be throwing stuff right now?
bear in
That's him.
mind, we were in South Carolina. It was 98 degrees with 100% humidity, and on the second day, the air conditioning went out in the convention center. So,
Oh,
That was not fun.
by the end of these days, we were pretty tired and loopy and hungry, and so that's why we were getting a little rowdy. It's like it's nobody is quite operating at full capacity at that point.
oh wow.
So, what have you been up to in our absence, Martin?
Me, been getting a lot of reading done. I've been chasing around my kids because I'm at a family reunion. That's why my setup's a little different now, and you can probably hear some background noises from me.
Well, I hope you're having fun at the family reunion.
Yeah, seriously.
You haven't
Yeah.
been getting into mischief, though, I assume.
No, my mischief is over
Well,
for the most part.
that's a
I don't like
very
the way
he
sad
said that.
statement. It's like there shall never be any more mischief ever. You're just I put that behind me. I'm a mature man now.
I don't know. I don't like the way he said that. I don't think I believe him, honestly.
It's not really mischief when you're at my age. It's more like malignancy.
There used to be an old boss of mine who aspired to be a coot, and I feel like if you had put mischief behind you, then you are on your way to coothood.
No, I'm still open to whimsy.
Trish, rescue me from this whimsical conversation. What have you been up to?
Oh, just a ton of whimsy myself, actually. But I
You
haven't
don't strike
shunned
me as the
mischief.
whimsy sort.
I'm
Well,
not.
Come on, she's got
get
whimsy
up to-
coming out her ears.
I get up to whimsy. What? I don't seem like a whimsical person?
Yeah, I don't know if I should be offended by that or not.
Yeah, no,
You know?
I've never got whimsy off of you.
What?
I,
Oh no, you know what? I was gonna say, what do you get? I don't want to know. Don't say
No,
what you get.
I don't think you don't want to know.
Sass. Lots of sass.
Yeah, that's fair.
I expect she's already decorating for Halloween.
No, not yet. But
Don't be one of
I have-
them.
I have been seeing little things like, say, like on Instagram or whatever, and I'm just like, yes, we're getting
I'm not sure that
close.
I'm not sure you can say that, Marv, because it's like you went to Halloween Horror Nights like 17 times before Halloween last year, and we're
Mhm.
doing nothing but complaining about Halloween. It's like you don't have to go, you know.
I'm gonna be
It's
doing
like-
it again. I just ordered a new streaming camera. I got one of those like little handheld like cameras that have like the 4K 120 frames per second. So
Oh wow!
Oh, you're
I'll be
getting
streaming.
fancy.
Yeah, I'll be streaming from there. It was
You getting
it was
those
really-
petite little?
Caro and Carolyn had them at the convention, and I was like, "Oh, these actually look really cool." So I like bookmarked them on Amazon, and then it was on it was on sale today for like $150 off. So I was just like, "Okay."
Nice.
You getting one of those petite little microphones you have to pinch between your fingers?
Oh, don't be one of those.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that girl, because I see it all the time with women holding the little teeny tiny microphone while they're talking about like Erewhon or something. I don't know.
I may already have the little microphones, so
Talking about what?
Oh god, here I'm gonna sound like such a girl. Erewhon, Erewhon, I think is how it's spelled. It's like a really fancy market that's in LA where smoothies are like, I don't know, $7,000 a pop. It's just like so super overpriced. It's like, if anyone remembers the time I brought up Meadow Lane in New York City, which is, they charge $14 for Driscoll's strawberries. It's like that, but it came first and in LA. So it's just like one of those types of blazes. Nothing about it is actually special, but they think they're special and they charge through the nose for everything.
You know,
So this is like the place for those women with super long fingernails that they tap on their Starbucks when they do a tasting
Yes.
video on YouTube.
In fact, I think there was like a trend of a $19 like Japanese strawberry that some of them were going in there and filming themselves trying. And I mean, apparently, allegedly, it was a delicious strawberry. I'm like, it's $19. It better be a delicious strawberry.
One hopes. It seems to me that if somebody actually wanted to make a killing in business, this is the way to do it. Just start some kind of business that's fruity lady drinks, because apparently they all go apes for it. Because Starbucks and Jamba Juice and whatever you just said, Erewhon, whatever, just make it sound like it's exclusive and really, really girly and expensive. And apparently you just hand your money over.
If you get those like insipid types of quote unquote influencers, if you can hook them in to doing stuff at your place, you're golden.
All right, this is the next business venture. This is what we're gonna do, boys.
We're going to need a song called Fruity Lady Drinks.
There you go. Carol can do that. She'll have that turned out in no time.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, can we have with alternate lyrics, but to my humps, where she's like lovely lady lumps is like fruity lady drinks or something. I feel it. I'm forming the ad campaign in my head right now.
Now, my question is, to hawk the fruity lady drinks, do we actually need a fruity guy? Because I feel like that's part of the package.
No, Kevin. We need Kevin for it.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So Apollo's fruity lady drinks.
Yes.
I'm pitching this to him as soon as he comes on. I'm sure he'll love it. All right, we do have a few super chats to get to. We've got Mark Fields for $4.99 saying, "Ready for another fantastic show. Positive vibes to you all." Thank you, sir. I don't know how fantastic the show is going to be. We're still recovering a little bit from the last week and a little bit loopy, but we're going to do our best to entertain tonight. I suppose I should let you know there's no real set topic tonight. We were trying to come up with something that would be topical, and it feels like we've done the Odyssey to death. Didn't really feel like doing that. So tonight it's going to be sort of a casual show. We'll do our news stories, and then we'll just kind of BS about whatever we and you would like to talk about, and we'll see how that goes. Next up, we got Solstice Studios for 20 saying, "Good evening, panel and chat. Looking forward to the show. Good to see you too, Solstice. Glad to have you out there." And we have Juliet for £5 saying, "Morning late night live with Lorn, Apollo, and chat," and doing her wrench duties out there marvelously. Very happy to see you, Juliet. Hope you're doing well out there. Guys, before we hit our first topics, did any of you have anything else that you wanted to cover? Anything that is interesting or exciting or...
I pissed off a lot of James Gunn fans today.
Was that with your
Let's hear about
lanterns?
that.
Yeah, I did a Lanterns reaction video, and they're all in the comments like, "I can't believe anyone actually thinks like this," and I'm just like, "What? That people could disagree with you?"
So, did you do you want to go into what you said about the Lanterns trailer, or do you just want to direct them to your...
Go watch the video, go leave it a like, because they're trying to mass dislike it. But the it is I tear it apart. Because it's slop. They try to show you a few more Green Lantern constructs and some space, and you see Sinestro, and that's about it.
Spice. But before we continue, hey Kevin,
Spice.
Are you going to be producing fruity lady drinks for us?
Did he? I don't know if he heard that part or not, or if you absolutely blindsided him.
We have volunteered you for a new business venture.
Oh.
And that is, we're going to start producing fruity lady drinks, because we think that this is a market that ladies with money like to engage in. They willingly hand over their money for fruity lady drinks, and you're going to be the face of the marketing.
I'm all for it. Let's go.
All right, we're calling it Apollo's Fruity Lady Drinks, and we'll see how it goes.
Right. I dig it, brother. Let's do it.
So, before we get into our story, now that you've joined us, tell us what you've been up to, how you been. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen you.
Oh yeah. So what was funny was so last week at the resort, so I was like, I'm gonna go home, and then it was torrential downpouring for like 5 days, just would not stop. And then so I'm sitting in my office, and this is around like 3 o'clock, and I hear like it's thunder and lightning, and I hear what sounds like an explosion. And I'm like, oh wow, that thunder's really close. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like, that sounded metallic though. And I'm like, oh my god,
Transformer Blue.
it was like something exploded. So I go look outside and I go, okay, never mind. It's just the weather. Like it was like apocalyptic. I find out that there were not one but two lightning strikes on. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it proceeded to take me 2.5 days to get home.
Oh,
Was anything important taken out by the strikes?
Just some internet and then someone's boathouse.
Oh, well, I guess that's not such a big deal. It's not your boathouse, so who cares?
Boathouse. No, but we did alleviate some of their stress and offered some goodwill assistance. But yeah, it was like, I thought nothing was wrong, and then found out the next day that a boathouse got struck, and I'm like, this is the sense I've been there is like, if it can happen, it's happening. Like my first day there, I'm walking through, and I see an ambulance zoom by, and I'm like, for an ambulance to be here, because we're just in the middle of nowhere, I'm like, I need to know what's going on. Someone's screaming that someone's having a heart attack. I run over, the guy's not having a heart attack. So I go to leave, and I go head over our marina. And as I get out of the property, I see not one but two car accidents, and I'm like, that's why the ambulance was here so fast. Because where we are, it's a road where the race cars, not the race cars, but the sports cars and the motorcycles love to go way too fast. And then I get down to where I'm heading to, which was our marina, and I'm talking to the harbor master, and he's like, "Are you here about the bear attack?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "It isn't even 2:00 yet."
that's your. Oh my god, that was literally like the Hercules. Thank God.
I like to think your reputation preceded you, and he knew about your abilities fighting bears.
Are you
So when
gonna
he
stop
saw
the
you, he
bears?
was like, yes.
Yeah, I think you're the one who's showing up to deal with the problem.
Oh, but yeah, it's been that's how my tenure started with 3 days, and then just like, oh, every week it's just something brand new. So I'm just rolling with it. Just rolling with it.
Well, it's good to see you. I did mention that I know you've had a bit of a tough day today, and so you might have to drop out early. But until then, we'll take you as long as we got you, and happy to see you, and hope you're well.
So before we, so did Lanterns drop, or did you?
The trailer dropped.
Oh, the trailer dropped. Okay.
Yeah, the third trailer dropped, and it's terrible. It's
just
they threw in a few more constructs.
Mhm.
They threw in a couple of planets
Mhm.
that I guess they go to or whatever, which all still happen to look like dusty old Southern Earth. And they confirmed the Manhunters are in it,
Mhm.
which is part of that leak that went out, so that we know Hal Jordan's going to die in the first episode now.
Mhm.
And they show Sinestro for like a minute.
How's he look?
He looks fine. He sounds okay. It's not Mark Strong, but Sinestro's already in a science cell. So like all the interesting Sinestro stories have already happened.
Oh yeah, so all the fun Hal Jordan stuff already happened.
Well, yeah, of course,
So-
he has to die in the first episode.
Is Mark Strong actually doing anything anymore? I haven't seen him in anything in forever.
Wasn't he the villain in the first Shazam movie?
Yes, yeah, he was Doctor
Mhm.
Anna.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He did the Kingsman. He just pops up in random little things. Wasn't he just Carmine Falcone in the Penguin?
Was he?
Yeah, he replaced what's his name?
No. That's the it's so that No.
Who was Clancy Brown?
Clancy Brown was Sal Maroni.
Okay.
It was still the guy from Transformers was still Carmine Falcone.
No, he didn't come back for the Penguin.
I thought
He didn't.
No,
I thought he came back in the like the flashbacks.
No. That was. I'm pretty sure that was Mark Strong.
Didn't
Turturro, right?
Yeah, Turturro played Falcone in the Batman.
Yeah. They couldn't get Turturro for the show. He was otherwise occupied.
But I thought that he died in the Batman. Am I misremembering that?
He did, but
he went to jail. Right?
No, he dies. The Riddler kills him.
Oh yeah.
No, there's flashbacks of like him killing his wife and stuff like that. So
okay. Well, I just think it's a shame that I don't see Mark Strong in much anymore because I think he's a phenomenal actor. The guy is great, and deserves to be doing more. So,
I thought he was great in that Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
But
yeah, the trailer was just not good, and they're all coming at me in the comments of videos, be like, "It's good, it's good." I can't believe it's another right-wing grifter. I can't believe you don't like the thing that I like. And they're like, I can't believe you think that the DC universe is going to fold because of one show. I'm like, no, it's not because of one show. It's because you have failed again and again and again and again, and you are about to fail again.
Did you quote tweet that person who was saying that Masters of the Universe is getting a lot of traction on Amazon, so therefore Supergirl's going to get it on HBO?
I don't think I quote tweeted that. But I did see that one, and I was just like, yeah, no, it's not. Masters of the Universe was actually pseudo entertaining.
Yes, that's absolutely. We actually spent a little time talking about Masters of the Universe because I'm like, first of all, Amazon, I'm torn on this movie. It's not made for anybody over the age of, I would say, 17. And it's very much so a streaming movie that they threw out in the theaters. It's a streaming movie they spent a lot of money on.
Yeah.
But
I disagree. You're saying you don't think it was made for anybody over the age of 17? I don't think it was made for anybody under the age of 48.
well, it's a throwback to like 80s kid like movies and young movies. I think that it struggled to do well because the tone was just all over the place. Like they're making really adult jokes in a movie that doesn't have a place for it. They're putting Adam in situations that like when he meets Dolph Lundgren at the gym. That scene would have played much better if we watched young Adam grow into 20-something Adam. Like the guy is super jacked, even though they're trying to hide how jacked he is under his clothes. I don't believe for a second that he doesn't know how to work out. That plays better if he's 16 and meets Dolph Lundgren at the gym and to go for the advice. It's like there were creative decisions that were clever but don't land because of the choices they made. It
also doesn't make sense for a grown man who grew up on Earth for at least a decade to not know you don't talk about stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, what? I don't understand. Like he had to have been adopted at some point in time, or at least in the system. He should have learned. Like just the realities of what they had the character doing versus where he was. It just didn't jive. What was I going to say? And then. But the people who were slamming it for I guess it being woke and I'm like, I don't understand. Like it's the message is very pro masculinity and
it's not woke. It's not woke at all. I wanted to call out this one because it says I'm going to watch Masters once it's on Prime and I am mad I missed it in theaters. It's on Prime now. I'm saying that because I actually started watching it tonight. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm maybe a third of the way into it, and so far I'm liking what I see. I understand. Yeah. I understand why it didn't set the world on fire in theaters, but as I'm watching it, so far, there's a couple of jokes that don't land,
Yeah.
but it's everything that I wanted out of a Masters of the Universe movie, in the sense that it's got the right look. I especially like every time they do, like, the sorceress creates a portal, and it's the Nelvana style colors. That it's like, if you watch the animated show, you know that it's like, oh yeah, they're leaning into this.
Right.
But the most important thing for me so far is that every one of these characters looks like their toy and is doing what their toy would do. Their character design for Beastman was incredible. When they got to the scene where he's introduced, I was looking at it and going, that's amazing. That's genuinely amazing that they translated.
Wait till you see the end.
Okay, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
So my thing was, I thought that I really love the Lorn, you haven't gotten there yet, but the Man-at-Arms speech about masculinity, about what a man does.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was incredible. The problem is that every time it says something positive about masculinity, they almost apologize for it. Like the way Wizard and I put it, the movie's not woke, but there's this little woke parasite under the skin. And every time they do something based, or they like are masculine in any way, someone has to do something to cut Adam's balls off.
Yes.
And there always has to be a joke about something. And even if it's not at Adam's expense, there's always a joke.
Yeah.
Well,
the one thing I really don't like, though, is how embarrassed this movie appears to be by its source material. Like,
yes.
Like the guy's name could just be Fisto. It doesn't have to be a thing that a little boy made up. Like, like their names should just be their names.
Their names should, yes. That's one of the things that it takes you out of the movie in a way that you shouldn't be taken out of the movie, because they're trying to justify it, and they don't spend enough time. You don't get enough time with young Adam for any of this to make sense anyway. So like you're just doing it because you felt like you needed to over explain the story.
I will say, Lorn, when you get to the point where he turns into He-Man for the first time, I mean, it is a goosebump moment. Like it is.
I got that from the trailer. When I first saw that in the trailer, I felt a chill go up my spine. But I'm going to push back a little bit on you saying that there's a germ of woke in it. I don't think that's what it is. Because there was a scene early in the movie when he's in this crushing job, you know, and there's a thing where he's sitting in with HR and they're doing this seminar about all this stuff, and there's a blue-haired guy next to him, you know, and they're making fun of all of that stuff. That is completely anti-woke stuff. I don't think it's a germ of wokeness. I think it is literally what you're saying. It's a discomfort with the dichotomy between Adam and He-Man. They don't quite know how to make the two sides of him work, I think. And that was always kind of a problem with He-Man in a way, because it was a cartoon for kids and you were presenting a moral for the kids at the end of every episode. Adam and He-Man are kind of milquetoast. That's why he's so naive and talks to everybody about Eternia. It's because he's too innocent to know any better.
One of the big things people complained about was how often he tries to like talk people down from a conflict. And I was talking to Kevin about it the other day, and I said, there is nothing wrong with an all-powerful, godlike hero being like, don't make me do what I'm about to have to do.
That's actually, I think, a great moment with Skeletor.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the things I liked about it was it kind of addresses how your relationship with your father, you don't really understand it until you're older. And that was good.
And I'll say, so far, it's like, now I'm not all that far into the movie, but I like Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms too.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like when he in the early attack scene on Eternia, when he lets loose and has his fight with Trapjaw, it's like, yeah, I believe this guy is taking these people out. I'm going to lean on you guys a little bit here because, again, I'm not that far into the movie. But Trish, this is my in for the conversation for you into this. It's also interesting to me what they're doing with the music in this movie. You've got kind of a rock synth kind of a thing going on. I get hints of them trying to go Queen with Flash Gordon. It's not really
Brian Mays did it.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah, it's Brian Mays.
All right, so I am picking up on some of that. And then you've got they're quoting some of the meme music, like you've got What's Going On, and some of that stuff too to go with the memes. But it's like it fits, and it like somehow in this weird way it works, and I'm enjoying the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because
Now
they're
I
trying
wish
to make
they
it-
had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Trish.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it sounds to me like they're just trying to make it 80s, like the show when the show was out, the cartoon.
Yes,
And also like Flash Gordon.
Yeah, especially with Brian May.
Yeah, and I would say it's like there's guitar. I kind of like their main theme that they keep threading into it throughout these various scenes. It's been playing in my head ever since I started watching it, and it's like, you know what? I feel like this movie. Again, I understand why it didn't set the world on fire, but I feel like it deserved better than it got. Can I put it that way?
Yeah,
I think it did.
I cringe at the idea of the sequel because we know She-Ra is coming, and I already know what the plot is going to be. She-Ra is a way better hero than Adam, and Adam feels like insecure about it. That's gonna be the joke that they go to over and over and over again.
My hope is that they learn the lesson that they should have learned from this not setting the world on fire, because it should have. And I think some of it is really just the environment that we're in with the movie theaters and just people not wanting to go to the movies in general at the moment. I guess, like, you'll see, Lorn, when you get to the end, they do pay off a lot of Adam's insecurity in his conversation with Randor. They kind of bring it home, but what I'm hoping that they learn is, and oddly enough, I have to give credit to Simu Liu, because he said something that I thought that filmmakers need to learn from. He was talking about how when he pops up in whatever this awful Avengers movie is going to be, that he is like Shang-Chi is older. He feels like Shang-Chi is older, and he should be more comfortable with himself because he's been doing this for a few years. When this sequel comes out, Adam needs to be more secure in his own skin because he would have been doing this for a few years. So if you want to dive in and still have him being insecure or whatever, it's not going to work. And when you go back and watch, actual He-Man, the best part about it was, especially now that I'm old enough to understand what's happening, is whenever Adam shows up, what's Adora's world? I can't remember what it's called. But whenever He-Man goes to visit, or whenever Adam goes to visit, all of her friends are like, they become a bunch of thirsty women on the cruise ship, and he doesn't know how to handle it. So if you just take the gag from the cartoon and run with it in the show, you're gonna have all the comedy that you need, because they treated Adam like he was this dreamboat, and Adam's like, I don't understand what's happening here. Why are you so aggressive?
So She-Ra's world was Etheria, so you had Eternia and Etheria. Now, one of the things that I think was a complaint about the movie, I think, is that the actor that's playing He-Man didn't bulk up quite enough. Mm-hmm. Although he's a little too big for Adam and not quite big enough for He-Man, which is part of the problem.
I agree. He needed like another probably 4 months to put on a little more size.
So this is my question.
Maybe,
when they do the sequel, do you think he's going to pack on more? Do you think he's going to really go for it?
I think so. He's pretty young and already that big. So, the longer you go, the generally more dense you get anyway. And by the way, I do want to shout out for people who are complaining about Teela. I actually thought they did a great job with Teela, because that's how Teela is in the cartoon, and that's how Teela was in the comic. Teela is the captain of the guard. She is supposed to be pushy. She is supposed to be a little headstrong, and she is supposed to be very confident in her ability. So I get it. We've been kind of beaten to death, in the age of the strong women. But, there were strong women. There were strong women before there were strong women. So, it's, sometimes you got to roll with it.
So there are 3 things that I will say that I loved in this movie the most. The score is magnificent. And it's like the moment where Adam transforms for the first time, the score is just brilliant there. And I will call a spade. I hate Jared Leto typically, but man, did he bring it in this movie. What a performance.
Yeah.
The best of his career. And the Snake Mountain fight scene is the most fun 3 minutes I have had at a movie theater all year.
So I do want to ask, do they bring in the actual animated theme music? Do we actually?
No, they didn't license it. Universal owns that because they bought the Funimation library.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I was really hoping we were going to get the classic theme.
Me too.
There, but
Yeah, that's why they are borrowing a lot from.
Don't they do the He-Man at the end of the movie?
I think so.
They do.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Sorry.
I think they do. But you can use like a two-tone without having to license from somebody. Can you?
They always they for the characterizations, they are borrowing pretty heavily from like the old little booklets and the comics, because the Funimation, not Funimation, the Filmation.
I said Funimation, didn't I?
Oh, maybe I don't know.
And that's the anime people.
Yeah,
you did. Funimation is anime.
Yeah, so it does get a little dodgy with the Filmation rights, even though you would think that. I thought Amazon. I shocked Amazon didn't gobble them up, but I get Universal beat them to it, I guess.
So there's two complaints that I have about the movie so far that I would point out. One is that I don't care for Evelyn so far. And the second is that I was a little shocked. Now, granted, I'm still at the beginning of the movie, of the portrayal of Randor, because I don't remember Randor being, well, kind of a hard ass is sort of what he is, which is not to say that he's a bad man, but I thought that was not the character that I remembered.
Yeah, that's comics. They're using comic book Randor, who was older and harder and really not very nice to Adam.
And also, the 2002 Randor was harder than the 1980s cartoon, don't you think? When they did the remake of He-Man?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was a little less tolerant of Adam, Adam's aloofness.
All right. Well, I never saw the 2002 series, so you would know that better than I would.
Oh, I recommend it, and there are folks who, I think the way they say that you can watch the 2002 one as a prequel to the 80s one, and there are little Easter eggs that they put in that that happen in the background of the show, and little plot points that happen in the show, that if you watch them backwards, you see where the bridge is.
Okay.
I love also that like Adam tries with Skeletor multiple times to get him to be like, there's got to be a reason why you are the way you are. Like, you could change, and Skeletor literally laughs at him. Like, he is just evil, and he loves it. He basks in how evil he is, and just absolutely adores how evil he is. And I think that is one of the most refreshing things in this movie, is that we didn't have to we didn't get like a backstory for Skeletor.
Mm-hmm.
There was one scene that is one of those scenes you're talking about where Tila responds, he's literally got a skull for a face. It's like, that did make me laugh. It's like, fair point. You probably got something going on there.
Mm-hmm. It's a skin condition. Don't mock.
The one thing I will say, they didn't do themselves any favors, but I was happy to see that I was correct, was that when they were talking about the petulant masculinity, rather the toxic masculinity stuff, it was because Skeletor's behavior is pretty petulant. He is the opposite of everything that you're supposed to like about Adam and He-Man. Even all the other stronger male characters, like especially Duncan, Skeletor is conniving. He's unsure of himself. He's tantruming. I'm like, okay, cool.
Mine, and I will have it. I will have it, and you will get it for me. I love that scene.
So, if you were doing casting for the sequel, who do you cast as Hordak?
I would use Michael Ironside as the voice of Hordak.
I'd use Michael Ironside's voice for almost anything.
Yes.
I was actually thinking a totally different direction. I was actually thinking Jeremy Irons.
Oh.
I mean, that's not a totally different direction. Like, Cynthia Erivo is a totally different direction.
Oh.
I just put it out in the universe. I'm sorry.
I'd cast Cynthia Erivo as Too Bad and just have Ariana Grande be the other head.
All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get to some of our stories. We've probably vamped on Masters enough for now, but our first one up is the Odyssey review score on Criticlist shows the film is not as universally beloved as media portrays. Early discussion surrounding Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey suggested that it would be one of the most divisive films of the year. However, since its release, the mainstream media has presented the film as a hit of epic proportions with both critics and audiences. Yet that supposedly universal appeal is called into question when looking at alternative sources of information. User-focused review site Criticlist is painting a very different picture of how general audiences really feel about The Odyssey. The first reviews of The Odyssey from professional critics were overwhelmingly positive. Film Threat's Alan Ng, who gave the film a 4 out of 10, was one of the few dissenting voices. That said, The Odyssey currently holds a 94% critic score on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes. As the divide between scores from critics and audiences has become increasingly pronounced, some online commentators continue to take a wait-and-see approach. This year, both the Super Mario Galaxy movie and Michael debuted with rotten scores, while audiences enthusiastically made them two of the year's biggest hits. Now that The Odyssey has received a wide release, its Rotten Tomatoes scores suggest that audiences are aligned with critics this time. At the time of writing, the site shows a 97% audience score. Additionally, the latest Christopher Nolan film shattered projections with a global opening of $264 million. Despite controversial casting and creative decisions, The Odyssey appears to have been universally embraced. Reactions to The Odyssey on Criticlist are considerably more divided. Currently, the 5 most upvoted reviews range from 15% to 59%. Users argue that Nolan's film fails to elevate or even understand its source material. Others suggest that The Odyssey had considerable potential but failed to realize it. Some praise the action set pieces and individual performances, yet even that faint praise is tempered by criticism of the grounded story and muted colors. After its first weekend in theaters, The Odyssey sits at 48%, or decent, with 200 votes. The overall impression is that the film is neither a masterpiece of modern cinema nor an utter disaster. YouTuber Derek Anderson argued in a post on X that the Criticlist score for The Odyssey is likely closer to reality. So speaking to regular people not terminally online and following 15 different YouTube entertainment channels, the general consensus I got is, it was fine, but I expected better, Anderson wrote, which is what I think is reflected in the Criticlist score. The official Criticlist account also noted the wide range of scores while claiming that most fall somewhere near the middle. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey was always going to be heavily discussed based on his name alone. It quickly drew fire over reports involving the cast, musical choices, and the translation used for the source material. Yet for all the backlash and praise, the final product may simply be middling. Time may be the ultimate test of the film's popularity. For now, however, the sharp divide between Criticlist and legacy review sites raises more questions than answers about what moviegoers should turn before buying a ticket. Those who have already seen The Odyssey, however, may now have a clearer indication of which platform best reflects their own experience. So, I considered making tonight an Odyssey night, but I feel a little bit like we beat it to death talking about it.
Yes.
But part of the reason that I did want to do this story is because I am still a little bit surprised at the wide range of opinions that are forming on the movie. So I just wanted to quickly hit, for those of you that have seen it, has your opinion changed at all?
No.
I'd still give it like a 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 5, and I'm comfortable with the 5. It's well shot. There are things there are scenes that when it actually focuses on the Odyssey, it can start to be good, but then they cut away from it to go hang out with his wife and son for a while, or to go visit the Punisher, or
Well, but that's the thing. They never focus on the Odyssey because so much of the story is cut out or reattributed to different events. So you never actually get Homer's Odyssey. And Tom Holland as Telemachus, the son, in the book or the poem, he's at least 20 years old. He has to be because Odysseus has been away for 20 years. Tom Holland plays him as a teenager. And pretty weak teenager even at that. And he's berated by his mother, whereas in the poem, he puts his mother in her place early on in the book because she speaks out of turn. And he's like, look, I'm in charge here. This is my household. I have to go talk with these other kings. I will be back.
Yeah, it's everything that I'm hearing. And again, I haven't seen it, but everything I'm hearing seems to be it's a 6 or 7 movie. And leaning more towards the 6 side. So I think that's probably the comfortable place for it to land. I don't think I'm going to go see it in the theaters. I don't want to give them the price of the movie ticket. When it does come out, I'll probably watch it on streaming somewhere just so that I can give a full opinion based on what I see, but I don't think it's worth spending the money on it for right now. So that's all the more we need to talk about it. I know folks are sick of talking about it, but I did want to hit on it just because I do find the spread fascinating. This is not something that we usually see on movies like this. So I find that as...
I think the Criticlist score, I think the thing that's really interesting about it is that it's not like, oh, the Odyssey on Rotten Tomatoes is 97%, and on Criticlist it's 7%. Like, no, it's middle of the road. And I think that's where most people are on this movie.
I will say I was gratified to know that I was right. A lot of these actors have never read the poem, and their exposure to it is the script they got.
And that's one of the things that I'm also finding is that those that don't have familiarity with the story, they seem to be fine with the movie, but that's because they don't know where it's deviated.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to beat it to death, but I believe that was the whole point of this. Is that we're at a phase now where I don't think the Odyssey has been required reading in high schools for almost probably 20, 25 years. So
I
it
didn't have
wasn't
to read
required
it in high
reading in
school.
mine.
Yeah, I never read it because I never got it as a school assignment.
Really?
So fine longer. So yeah, so it's you're in a space now where there is a big segment of the movie going population that just doesn't know. And and I said this in the pro show because I thought it was the easiest to digest. They pick this opportunity now because this becomes their version of the story. It becomes their foundational interpretation, just like how Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent changed how people perceive Clark Kent. Clark Kent was not this character before Richard Donner showed up. So now the Odyssey is fundamentally changed in public discourse, unless you are someone who went to a school that covered it or was old enough to have had to have read it.
Yeah, Wizard keeps saying that the point of this is to replace the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Like the point of it is like, yeah, well, of course there's black people in the Odyssey. That's what the Odyssey is. Like he said, that's the ultimate point, is to make it a replacement for Greek culture.
Well, it's all therapized. That's I'm sure I know I said that last night, but it's all internal stuff. There's no home. It's not Odysseus trying to get home and restore order to the world. It's internal therapy stuff.
So what you're saying is Nolan increased the role of Theripides. I'm glad you laughed at that. I wasn't sure if that joke was going to land. Our next one up is going to be one of Mara's favorites. Dr. Doom's Latvian witches revealed for Avengers Doomsday, continuing Disney's growing fascination with witchcraft. I have a theory about this, by the way. We'll get to it. And
I also have a theory about this.
All right, lead with it. Let's hit it to start with.
There appears to be 3 Latvian witches, and when they take their helmets off, they will be Scarlet Witch, Agatha, and one of the other ones.
Okay, so
and Wiccan maybe. Like it'll be.
I was going to say Wiccan.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I also think it's because they don't want to do Doom bots. I think they probably think
Oh, no,
Doom bots are.
There's going to be Doom. They'll be Doom bots. What
You
else
think
are they
so?
going to fight? What else are they going to fight in the big war scene? They're going to fight Doom bots. That's 100% what's going to happen. The
Okay.
witches, I think, are there to be like guiding Doom's magic. Which again, like I have no problem with Doom having magic. Obviously, Doom is a magical character. He blends magic and science perfectly. It's just that we're back to witches again with Disney.
But my only problem with it is it's not Victor Von Doom. Victor Von Doom is deeply tied to magic and witchcraft. His mother was a witch. She was burned alive. Satan's little bleep were the things they cried.
Do you think the Doombots are going to be the Elseworlds version of the Ultron bots?
Yeah.
Well, it'd kind of have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they need a disposable army for the Avengers to cut through.
Mhm.
They don't have the Chitauri or the Ultrons this time, so we have to have a disposable army to get through before you get to the big boss.
They haven't introduced Morgan Le Fay anywhere, right?
No, they have not.
Okay, so I mean, in the comics, he does mind wipe Wanda and uses her to uses her reality warping power. Let's see. I'm trying to think of who else do we have.
You got Sylvie out of Loki.
Actually, yeah. So yeah, it's they're gonna especially for modern stuff. They will yes. I guarantee you one of them is gonna be Wanda. I don't know.
I'm more sure that one of them is Agatha than Wanda.
The more we get, especially the cheesy accent, it's Tony Stark. It's not Victor Von Doom, and the closer we get to this movie, the more irritated with it I'm going to be. That it's
Something is coming. It appears to be a moose walking on his hind legs and a flying squirrel.
Yes, exactly. Like why is he doing a Boris impression?
All right, so theorycraft for a moment, because if the plot points that we have heard are all true, this movie is not going to work out well. But if you were going to do the introduction for Victor Von Doom, forget RDJ stunt casting for a minute. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. How would you want to bring Doom into the universe? It would have to be in the Fantastic Four. You'd have to do it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should not have led with Galactus. That's not. And honestly, if they do hit the reset button on this universe, they need to recast the Fantastic Four, because you cannot have 53-year-old Pedro Pascal being Reed Richards for the long term. He's terrible at it.
Yeah, Vanessa Kirby is the only one the only casting I enjoy. I don't like the ugly Human Torch. He looks
ugly
like
gay Human Torch. Yeah.
Yes, he looks like a foot. The Thing's voice does not match the Thing at all.
Nope.
I think Chiklis was great as the voice for the Torch.
Yeah.
Or not Torch, for Thing.
Yes, the Thing is a Brooklyn Jewish kid who loves his sweet Aunt Petunia. He needs to sound like an unabashed New Yorker, a tough BA football playing a war hero New Yorker. It's not really not that hard to cast these movies when you want to actually try. But
really, I think the Thing is the closest thing to a Kirby insert has existed in the Marvel universe in some ways.
But Brooklyn ain't Brooklyn anymore, at least as far as I understand it.
Yes. Well, the Thing, yes. If we were to do modern Brooklyn, it would be. Well, I guess you would get this Thing. He'd just have purple. He'd have purple rocks instead of orange ones. Maybe a nose ring.
Bisexual lighting. Yeah.
All right, but how would you introduce Doom? What do you want out of a Doom introduction? Because Doom is a villain on a different level. You've got to handle him a little bit differently. You got to do something special with Doom.
The first thing I would have done with Doom would have gone back to the Arena of Kangs and had Doom just walk into the center of it and do something to kill them all.
Did you see the AI video that did that?
I did actually, and I was just like, "This is what I had wanted." Like, I had just imagined like the Doom bomb like dropping on the whole thing. But yeah, there was a really good AI video that did that. But yeah, I feel like you need to take out the Council of Kangs.
I guarantee you that Doctor Doom was going to be what they were going to do after the Kangs, and that they panicked and just jumped straight to Doom, and whatever they had planned, they had to throw out because there is a problem with your casting. You had to make a decision because Kang is either related to Victor Von Doom or he's related to Reed Richards, and Jonathan Majors kind of forced your hand. Whatever they were planning versus what we're getting, God only knows what it was going to be. And if we believe the stories about their inability to cast Reed Richards, they couldn't find an actor who was willing to simp himself out enough to take the role other than Pedro. And even then, that was after they made major changes to it. But dude, the introduction of Doctor Doom, it should have. I keep screaming this because it's just so baffling. What was the point of jumping 5 years in the timeline with the blip, other than to say you did this thing? What was the point in saying that there was this massive explosion of cosmic energy that rippled out through the universe during the snaps if you weren't going to do anything with it? The end game should have ended with Fury, or you could have even done it with Spider-Man, correct? Because Spider-Man is just Endgame, 0.5. It should have ended with Nick Fury instead of doing the joke with Talos. That's what we should have ended with Nick Fury being on a plane, saying that talking about how the political landscape has changed, and that this small Eastern European country is wielding a lot of world power. And they're going to go send a delegation to Latveria. This way, everybody would have lost their minds, and then you could have very slowly been playing up to the debut of Doctor Doom, and then you should have used Black Panther instead of making it.
I was going to say,
instead of doing what you did with it and turning it into a 4.5 hour guilt trip, you should have leveraged Wakanda. You should have used Namor. Namor should have just been Namor. Should have been from Atlantis, and not a fat guy from Mexico. You should have let Namor be Atlantean, and then I probably would have introduced Doctor Doom at the end of that movie, and the bridge should have been, the meeting should have been two monarchs, and left you with and just left you twisting in the wind, not knowing what he was doing. Because now Doom is a massive presence in the universe, and you shouldn't have touched him until you introduced the Fantastic Four. And I guarantee you, if we ever get a hold of the scripts that John Watts was working on, your actual Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom debut is buried in there. Except Marvel can't get out of their own way, and they keep chasing talent off because talented people don't follow the rules.
I would have had Doctor Doom as using statecraft early on. Like you start getting the tremors out there that something is going on, some state actor is doing things. I probably would have had it involved in Wakanda, and maybe even have him behind the death of T'Challa. And that way you kind of build him as a threat more slowly.
See, now, I would like to see them lean into his medieval heritage and really lean on classical design for like his castle and everything else. The regal side of Von Doom. And if you did something like after the blip that you were talking about, that Europe is devastated, and he is going to, in a Hitlerian way, kind of raise Europe back up through their own self-reliance and everything, make him a regional power that way, the hope of Europe, and then reveal that he's a villain. I think that there's fun ways that you could deal with that.
Yeah, that could be good. And everybody focuses on Von Doom as science and magic, and then that's appropriate. That's his immediate threats. But he is a state actor. That's another level that he attacks with.
Actually, yep. They've not done much with the Yuan, but there should have been. It's a massive. We should have been talking about just a massive shift in the political landscape, especially if you were going to do all this nonsense with what did Captain America wind up being called? Brave New World. I'm like, what was the point of calling the movie Brave New World? There was nothing new about the world. It's that probably, honestly, I would have debuted him in there. Following where we were in the MCU timeline, the Doctor Doom should have been meeting Captain America, and you could have taken the scope and grandeur that is Captain America and had him standing before this monarch that no one has really heard of except for a group of elites. And he goes to throw the shield, Doom catches it, and then instead of a fight, they have a conversation, and Captain America winds up leaving the conversation feeling a little small, and that would have been your bleep moment. And now you just sit back and wait for when this guy's going to show up and bring some havoc.
Did you guys ever read 1619?
Yes, I love 16.
Yeah.
I love 1619 except for the end, but that is a series that I would love to see adapted, simply because they brought all of those characters into that different era in such an amazing way, and it's one of my favorite portrayals of Doom is in that series. So, anyway.
they could still have him be revealed to have been part of the plot in Brave New World.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the funder or the organizer behind it.
Mm-hmm. I still don't understand what Thunderbolt Ross did that sent him to prison, other than not want to die.
Well, I mean, he's now part of one of the super soldiers. Probably having him under lock and key is not a bad idea.
I never watched it.
Somebody in my in my comments section actually pointed out to me that Doomsday has 5 fake Captain Americas in it, because you have Sam Wilson, you have Steve Rogers not in the uniform and not with the shield, you have Winter Soldier, you have Red Guardian, and you have U.S. Agent who did nothing wrong.
How dare you calling Bucky a fake Cap? How dare you?
They're all super, but I mean, they're all like super soldier. Yeah,
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
They're all super soldiers except for Sam Wilson, who's actually the one that's supposed to be Captain America.
And it does weirdly feel like they don't know what to do with Bucky right now, because they made him a congressman.
They certainly don't know what kind of wig to
did. They never did. The second they decided he wasn't going to be Cap after all, it was just like he may as well have ceased to exist.
No, they should have just done what everybody wanted and just done Lethal Weapon with superheroes, and made the Falcon and the Winter Soldier not an obnoxious virtue signal.
You mean what Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie wanted it to be?
Yeah, and just let them have fun together, because they've got great chemistry.
Yeah, so, if you see them in interviews, they're really funny together.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you just gotta let it just be.
Did they complain about the show after the fact?
I don't think so.
No, they're good. They're good at the business.
There was this little moment on Twitter where Sebastian Stan said something and Chadwick Boseman responded, and it was about characters being replaced. I can't remember which one it was, but if you caught it, and it didn't stay up very long, but if you caught it, it was very clear that neither one of them was happy with the direction of whatever the plots to their respective projects were supposed to be. And then it just got a little quiet, but that was our first real hint of Big Kev doesn't actually know what he's doing.
Yeah. We do have some super chats we should get to. One of them was from SFX Sabertooth Raptor for 5, saying, "New WDW Pro / that Podplay show. The Chronicles of Leard and Marv. Lorn, Leard, Indiana Jones type. Marv, short round type. Apollo, solid type. Trish, Marion?
Why am I short round?
Bad dates.
I'd kind of like to see your take on short round, actually.
Mhm.
You no good at cards, Dr. Jones. You cheat.
Hey, lady, you call him Dr. Jones.
There is nothing that you can't do that is about to get this channel not.
My favorite thing, I don't remember who said it, but I remember somebody said it where it was like when apparently Harrison Ford went up to Kiwi Kwan at the Oscars, it was like, "Are you short round?" And somebody said, I don't remember if it was me or somebody else, but it was like he's asked that question of every Asian that he's met for the last 30 years.
And it finally paid off.
And it just happened to be the one time that it actually was. Are you short round? What?
Caveat ties for 2 saying, criticizing the Odyssey. And we got Wolf of McGruffle the third for 5 saying, hi, Lorn, hi, Marv, hi, Trish, hi, Martin, hi, Kevin, hi, chat. I've never super chatted to that pod place before.
Oh, hi,
Well,
Wolf.
I have. You can never send that super chat again. Next up, let's see. We've got Adam Driver has reportedly turned down Marvel many times.
What if Feige self-owned this is?
It's almost like he has experience being in a movie that almost ruined his career.
Yeah, I like it is so funny that Feige actually admits to this. So yeah, go ahead.
Recent rumors suggested that Adam Driver had finally joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has now revealed that the actor has repeatedly rejected opportunities to enter the superhero franchise. During an appearance on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, host Josh Horowitz noted that Marvel had approached Driver about several characters. Feige responded, many. It's no secret we'd like to, Feige continued, but it's a tradition to Zoom with him and then he passes. That's a long-lived tradition. Although Feige did not identify the roles offered to Driver, he said the actor has always been cordial and honest during their conversations. Marvel has apparently continued approaching him despite receiving the same answer numerous times. Does he pass in the moment or does he wait to pass afterwards, Horowitz asked. He's usually upfront about how he's feeling, Feige responded.
By the way, this makes me think that he actually is signed on to play Sinister, because I don't think Feige is making this statement and admitting this unless he has him locked down.
I don't know, man.
Well, that way you get to come back and say he was waiting for the right part and we found it.
While it is unclear when Feige sat down for the interview, his comments arrived shortly after rumors began circulating that Driver had been cast as a villain in Marvel's upcoming X-Men reboot. On July 13th, Scooper My Time to Shine Hello claimed that Driver had joined the MCU in an unidentified villainous role. Another insider, Apocalyptic Horseman, initially reported that the Star Wars actor would portray Magneto. 3 days later, the Scooper walked back that claim and said Driver was actually being eyed to play Mr. Sinister. More recent reports have connected him to William Stryker, creating additional uncertainty about Marvel's plans.
I would say Adam Driver as Sinister is good casting. I didn't hate the Magneto one either, but
actually, I would accept him in that role. I could see him doing Magneto, but
I didn't hate it at all. I thought it was fine.
I still say McAvoy and Fassbender were great, and you should keep them.
I agree. I think that they were excellent in those roles, but I'm afraid we're so far removed from them that
Dark Phoenix killed that. Nobody from those movies is ever coming back.
Unless you're Simon Kinberg.
Yeah.
Feige's comments do not necessarily prove that every rumor is false. Driver could always change his mind and Marvel presented them with the right director, script, or character. However, the studio president's description of their repeated conversations suggests that no deal has been finalized when the interview was recorded. According to Variety, the Marvel Studios boss also confirmed that no casting decisions have been finalized for the X-Men reboot. Until Marvel or Driver makes an official announcement, claims that the actor has already joined the film should be treated with considerable skepticism. Many users online suggested that Driver may not have an issue with Feige or Marvel specifically. However, some have speculated that his relationship with Disney may have cooled. The search for Ben Skywalker, anybody? Last October, the actor revealed that the studio had rejected a spin-off film centered on his Star Wars character Ben Solo. Driver and director Steven Soderbergh had reportedly spent 2 years independently developing the project before presenting it to Lucasfilm. It was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it was really cool, Driver said, but it is no more, so I can finally talk about it. Lucasfilm reportedly responded positively to the idea by rejecting it. However, Disney executives Bob Iger and Alan Bergman ultimately rejected the project because they did not understand how Ben Solo could still be alive.
They positively don't want to do it.
While a return to the Star Wars universe appears to be off the table, Feige seems ready to offer Driver a place in the MCU. Marvel clearly remains interested in working with him. Nevertheless, after so many polite rejections, the latest X-Men casting rumors may simply represent another proposed role that never makes it beyond a Zoom call.
He should be Snape.
He should be Snape.
I have been saying that since the beginning, and I'm not alone. A lot of people wanted him as Snape.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. He's like absolutely perfect for it.
He's age appropriate for it. He looks like
he's all of it. He's all of it.
I feel like Adam Driver's actually, it seems to me, to be a really smart guy. I think he has a pretty good feel for what roles are good for him, and I think that he's done really well in kind of indie stuff. I think the combination of the reaction to the Star Wars sequels and the rejection of the script that they developed, which I think he was intending to try and salvage the sequel trilogy a little bit, the fact that they just would not hear of it, I think that soured him, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. And I would also put a side bet that he doesn't want to do big blockbusters, big movies anymore. I think his heart's more with indie stuff.
I can see that.
I don't think I've ever seen Adam Driver in anything, but I like him. Like anytime I see a random thing or hear a random thing about him, he just seems like an actual decent, good dude. And I like Adam Driver. So I don't even know if I would want him to join something like Marvel that is so clearly on a downslope. It's like, you know what, dude, you got the right idea. Just don't.
It shows you how classy he is also when he stuck up for Lena Dunham when she talked about what she did to her sister in her book. And then she attacked him recently.
I saw that.
She attacked him and said that he was abusive on the set and stuff like that and scared her.
Oh, wow.
And he did not fire back. He just kind of stayed quiet about it. And I think he might have made some kind of comment like, well, just wait till I write a book or something like that. But he seems like a class act.
Yeah, he really does.
He was also smart enough on SNL to say, I didn't kill Han Solo. Wokeness killed Han Solo.
And then there was that, was it Golden Globes, where he was the only one laughing with Ricky Gervais?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think he's actually pretty based.
Probably. Most of the former Marines I know are, although they say there are no former Marines.
Yep. Next one up. Captain Marvel teased in Avengers Doomsday Comic-Con sets? ? Now this one was kind of interesting. I'm curious what you guys have to say about this, because it's not just Captain Marvel. The San Diego Comic-Con is officially underway, and this year Marvel Studios will once again be one of the highlights, with a big presentation planned for Saturday in the famous Hall H, the focus of which will almost assuredly be Avengers Doomsday, the upcoming event film that will mark the beginning of the end of the multiverse saga. The film is said to have many surprises in store, but one of them may have been confirmed, as video and images strongly suggest that Captain Marvel will return in Avengers Doomsday. A video shared by the X account POC Culture reveals that Captain Marvel's star symbol is emblazoned on an arch that was set up across from the San Diego Convention Center, where Comic-Con is held. It appears on the base of the pillars that hold up the arch, part of the stone masonry. Presumably, this is supposed to be a piece of Latvian architecture, letting fans know that they've entered Doctor Doom's kingdom, if not his actual throne room. The video was taken on Tuesday, so it's unknown whether this will remain outside or be moved to Hall H when the Marvel Studios presentation is held. And you can't really see it here because the play button's in the way, but you can see it there on that picture. Now, It seems odd that you would have Captain Marvel's star emblazoned on a piece of Doom's architecture, but they get into that in the story and says, while some are saying that the star looks similar to the one Captain Marvel wears, but may not be the same one, others believe it's so close to identical that it ensures the character will appear in Avengers Doomsday. The direct observes that Captain Marvel's symbol also appears on Doctor Doom's costume as one of the clasps on his cape. The other clasp has Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, on it, while his arms have rings similar to the 10 rings wielded by Shang-Chi, both of whom are confirmed to be in the movie. The reason behind Doom wearing the symbols of his enemies is unknown right now, but the direct suspects it has to do with Doom having studied and prepared for these particular foes, knowing that they represent the mystical and cosmic threats arrayed against him. And the Avengers Doomsday trailer is evidence of this, since Doom is ready for a mighty blow from the mighty Thor. Why would the Marvel Comic-Con set tease Captain Marvel showing up in Avengers Doomsday? It's possible that this is when Marvel will reveal her appearance in the film. The Marvel Studios presentation was long believed to be where the first full trailer for Avengers Doomsday would be released. However, that happened on Monday. But Marvel will need something big to unveil at Comic-Con, and unless there's another trailer ready to go, which is unlikely, the most logical alternative is revealing some previously unannounced cast members. Brie Larson's return as Captain Marvel would fit that bill, as would some of the other expected players like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. Of course, it's possible that Doom has prepared himself to fight Captain Marvel, but she won't be in the movie for whatever reason. However, this seems extremely unlikely. Not only would it be a setup with no payoff, but based on the trailer, the film clearly intends to demonstrate how powerful Doctor Doom is. Defeating a formidable threat like Captain Marvel would leave no doubt about how hopeless the Avengers' plight is now that they're facing Doom. It's also important to remember that Marvel probably won't announce every superhero appearing in the movie before it premieres, so it's possible that Captain Marvel will be in Avengers Doomsday, but she won't be confirmed on Saturday. But that star says almost as much as a Brie Larson appearance on stage would, and just to clarify here, you can see Mjolnir there on, or at least it looks like it, on the shoulder clasp for the cloak, and there's the star on the other side, so there may be something to this. You can see a couple of the rings here on his arm as well. So I did think that was kind of interesting. I hadn't heard about this in any design discussions before. Had any of you?
No, I hadn't heard a bit about it.
I heard a rumor about the 10 rings being, or the Doom's armor being crafted to negate the power of the 10 rings. So I'm not shocked. I mean, I don't know. I'm finding it really very hard to be excited about Doctor Doom, and I love Doctor Doom.
Well, okay. I sort of thought that story might actually trigger a little bit of interest, but
no, I don't know, man. I think maybe it's possible he's prepared for Captain Marvel, but I don't think she's showing up. I think that they would not have been able to keep that hidden if she's in this movie.
Don't you think it's a little weird she's not in it, though, considering there's everybody?
I don't think it's weird that she's not in it because she's so deeply unpopular.
But
because
I think she's talking about from a story internal logic.
From a story perspective, yes, it's very odd.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you can easily you can also. But if this is going to be a story that like starts on our Earth and then jumps into the multiverse, that is kind of easy because she could be on the other side of the universe.
I mean, if you go to the end of Shang-Chi, where they went out of their way to show you what even though for some strange reason we're supposed to be thinking that the Avengers aren't around, that there was an Avengers configuration at play, that there were people clearly paying attention to what was happening in the universe. It is silly that she's not there because Wong brought Shang-Chi to that room and she was there and Banner was there and who else was there?
Oh yeah, I know.
The Dora Milaje lady.
Yeah. So yeah. Emma Schoen was there.
Okoye?
Yes,
I think she was.
Your bald-headed demon. It's like they made it very clear that there was an Avengers-esque team floating around. So to not have her be in the movie it's silly.
Monica Rambeau was set up at the end of the Marvels as being in the X-Men universe to set up this incursion storyline. And from what I have heard, She is not in this movie, which means, which I'm assuming means that, you know, the murder X-Men have killed her.
Well, I mean, we also don't know. It's, you know, she could just be not on that X-Men Earth. I think people should.
Do we know if Kelsey Grammer is in this?
Kelsey
Grammer is in this, yes.
Okay.
I also would imagine people should be really bored with watching Professor Xavier die on screen.
Again. He is Kenny McCormick at this point.
for a change, they could do the younger version. They could do the not Patrick Stewart version. Kill him off instead.
But also, like, I get, like, yes, we needed to bring back Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen one more time. They look ancient.
Oh, they are ancient.
I know, but like I'm supposed to believe that Magneto is still destroying New Jersey when he looks like he can't even, you know.
No,
he's had a lot of assistance.
I believe Ian McKellen could destroy New Jersey. I actually disagree with you. I buy it.
He's actually trying to clean up New Jersey.
You'd have to destroy it to do that.
Well, if it is a multiverse story, why can't we have Nicholas Hoult Beast and then Kelsey Grammer as Fraser Crane?
Because Nicholas Hoult is currently Lex Luthor.
And like I said, no one from those movies will ever be seen in anything other than Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. Ah, well.
People forget just how bad Dark Phoenix was.
I didn't forget. I never knew. I didn't go watch it.
We got another one from Wolfram McGruffle III for 5 saying, Driver is such Snape that he needs to be Snape in the Marvel Universe, too. I thought Trish was going to jump in on that.
You know, how many times can I say Snape is perfect? I mean, Adam Driver is perfect as Snape. I've just been ringing that bell for. I like to think he turned it down. That's what my little headcanon for it is.
But I mean, so do you think that her only British for British eyes only? Do you think that was more important than Snape? You know, looking like he looks in the book.
No, because John.
Well, we're getting an American Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I just finished book 7 in the audiobooks. And it's funny because she has her like little descriptors that she uses specifically for certain characters. With Hagrid, it's his beetle black eyes. With watery eyes for Wormtail, heavy lidded for Bellatrix Lestrange. With Snape, it is greasy hair, sallow skin,
long nose.
She says sallow skin and pale skin so much when referring to him.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me, does Dumbledore in any of the novels ever go to France, like to the French version of Hogwarts?
Beauxbaton? No, they come to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered that. I was hoping that maybe he went to France because I would have liked to have seen an episode titled An American Dumbledore in Paris.
I think you just wanted him to see London and France so then he could see somebody's underpants.
Why would I care if he saw somebody's underpants?
I don't know. You're the weird one here.
That's a little weird. It's like why would I care if somebody saw somebody's underpants by proxy? That just doesn't work.
You're the one obsessed with it. I don't know.
Barb hasn't had sleep for a while. Paramount reveals new Star Trek movie, but is Alex Kurtzman still involved? You wrote this just to get to Kevin, didn't you?
Yep, I thought it would draw him out of hiding.
This isn't a new story though.
I just try to maintain composure while I get through this, and then I'll turn you loose, man. For the first time in years, Star Trek fans have a reason to be cautiously optimistic. Paramount has officially revealed the first details about its next theatrical Star Trek film, confirming that Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves writers Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley are penning the project. According to the duo, the movie will feature an entirely new cast of characters and take place farther into the... Oh, no. Really?
So Just keep
Oh,
going.
heavens, no.
You're saying farther into the future than any previous Star Trek story. This depends on what you mean by Star Trek story. Because do you mean, further than any movie's gone, which would be after Next Generation? Or do you mean like into the 32nd century, which I personally Lower Decks gave us that out where they basically said to us, hey, like this doesn't count. It's in its own timeline. So it depends on what you mean by Star Trek story.
On paper, that's exactly the kind of creative reset many fans have been asking for, but one enormous question remains unanswered. Is Alex Kurtzman involved? Until Paramount answers that question, it's difficult to know whether this movie truly represents a fresh beginning for the franchise or simply another chapter in the same era that has divided Star Trek fans for nearly a decade.
So let me say what I meant by that. What I meant by this is what people might want is I don't think anyone wants a recast of Kirk and Spock again. Nobody wants you to recast the Next Generation crew. Go a little further in the future, have a new crew, tell a new story the way you've always done, the way you've always reinvented Star Trek over and over again, but in a way that's not dumb.
So the mandate is not dumb.
Just no Kurtzman. That's the mandate, is no Kurtzman.
The bar is so low at this point. It just has to be not dumb.
It literally can't get worse than Starfleet Academy. Starfleet Academy is the worst television show I've ever seen before, let alone Star Trek. I mean, it is the worst, most putrid crap that's ever existed.
I never watched it. Is it worse than Rings of Power?
Yes.
Wow.
Speaking about the project, Goldstein and Daly explained that they wanted to create a film welcoming to longtime fans while remaining accessible to newcomers. That's an encouraging approach. Is it, though?
No.
I think so. I think these guys are pretty good. I like a lot of their stuff. So my point in this article is it sounds like we could move forward with new creatives if Kurtzman is gone. But they're refusing to tell us if Kurtzman is gone yet.
The rights are so messy that I don't think they have much of a choice but to go a whole new crew in a weird section of time. But again, it could be, we're talking about the movies, and it could be just real time. Almost, almost 40 years after Next Gen, and you're okay. Paramount, well, I'm a little sad that this movie's happening now and not being developed in 2 years, because old school Paramount has been the biggest foe of Star Trek movies being as good as a Star Trek movie can be. They get really weird about Star Trek movies being Star Trek-y, even though Star Trek fans will pour money into it. They don't understand that, like, why when something is accessible, but for Star Trek fans, it will do well anyway. So like they put too much emphasis on this accessibility. I think these guys did a great job with Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a little sad that Dungeons and Dragons didn't do better, and they did a great job with Homecoming. So I'm not totally closed off to this, but I wish they would have waited for the rights issue to be resolved.
I actually agree with you on Dungeons and Dragons. I liked that movie, but man, I'm so nervous about anybody touching Trek at this point. I don't know that anybody wants to do a smart Star Trek. And I think that's the problem, is they think that it's too highbrow for a broad audience, and so they keep trying to do lowbrow stuff, make it more of an action franchise and less of a...
They're trying to make it Star Wars or any other like sci-fi franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Yes, and Star Trek exists in its lane because it created the lane. So it needs to be its own thing. That's why it works. When you deviate from what Star Trek is, Star Trek will always fail. And it's they kind of have forgotten. It's like, well, Star Trek fans recruit and create new fans. You're stuck now because you alienated the people who are going to bring everybody else to the table. So, I don't know. This is just this is frustrating for me. And we've talked about many times before. Star Trek movies and Star Trek TV are different animals because you don't have the time to do a super deep dive into, what you would do on a Star Trek TV show. So yes, they should be a little more action oriented, but for the love of all that is holy, not be anything that vaguely resembles what JJ did with Into Darkness and Beyond. And Beyond was a major improvement from Into Darkness, but it was also still really very stupid.
It's funny because I liked 2/3 of Beyond. I actually liked Beyond quite a bit. What I hated was the villain.
Yeah. I lose it with Beyond when we have to play Sabotage again.
I would have actually really enjoyed seeing where they would have gone after Beyond, because I thought that it ended on an interesting place. Unfortunately, Anton Yeltsin was deceased after that, and that created the problem. But I would have liked to have seen where that crew would have gone after Beyond.
Of course, the Enterprise is gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, but they would have just jumped straight to the A. They get the A like 30 years early. I know. Well, I'd say, it's one of those, the timeline's all over the place. I thought that they should have, I thought if they were smart, they should have jumped to a post 5-year mission place and just played in that space where there is story that hasn't been told.
They did need to nerf transwarp beaming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big problem for me. They needed to fix that.
Yep.
Yeah. After years of relying on legacy. Go ahead.
I was going to say doing something with a Commodore Kirk who has been promoted before his time and still trying to get back in the field could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I struggle because we're talking about the continuation of the J.J. Abrams timeline.
Oh, well, I mean, if they had...
Well, but he specifically said if they were continuing from Beyond.
Yeah, I know. What I'm playing with in my head is, if I was going to do Star Trek, if I wanted to revive it and do it without Kurtzman, what would I want to see? What would I want to do? What era would I want it to be? Are we moving into the future? Are we going into the past? Honestly, and I'm going to get crucified for this, I think, I would want to do what the Vic Mignogna series did and the Grant Imahara series and continue the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd want them to do it somewhat similarly, where it would look like the old sets. You would actually play it straight moving forward. I don't think anybody would ever do that. I don't think anybody would move forward with that. But I think that's the thing I would be most comfortable with.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would be fun. That would be something that would be fun. I would probably, you have a little more wiggle room in the era of streaming to experiment with Star Trek. So like there are different stories that you could be telling. It doesn't have to be a train wreck like Section 31, but I do think that if you want to move it forward, you just have to move forward. Just real time jump ahead, and it's a new crew. Space is very different. Focus on introducing all new. You've got to take the what worked about the first season of Next Gen and apply that formula. It's the rules are different. It's new aliens. Don't do anything classic for a while. Save it towards the end and just keep it going. I think rebooting Star Trek, very similar to this weird desire to reboot Doctor Who, is disastrous, and it's just not going to go well.
Let me throw out one more idea because it just occurred to me. I assume you guys have heard about William Shatner's stage 4 cancer diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had not heard that.
Yeah, him and his daughter both. They both have stage 4 cancer.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't hear
Yeah.
the second part. Wow.
Yeah, that was terrible. They have made an announcement about that. Both of them were diagnosed. We have a limited time left with William Shatner. What if you did a story connecting one of the original series episodes with young Kirk, and this is a place where AI could apply, where, say, you use the Guardian at the end of Forever, or something where he encounters old Kirk, and you get one last hurrah for William Shatner as Kirk to close out a movie.
I would redo Ashes of Eden. I would take one of the Shatnerverse books and just go nuts and give Captain Kirk a blaze of glory.
So I don't know this one. Tell us about this story.
Oh, so Shatner wrote a series of books a little after Generations came out, where he continued Kirk's story, and it's actually in the anniversary shorts that the Roddenberry Institute did, where they bring Kirk back. Those actually borrow a lot of elements from his from the story, where it tells you what happens it's bouncing back and forth. It opens up with Spock standing over Kirk's rock grave, and there's something happening in space. You don't quite know what's happening, but Spock starts thinking about how he was disappointed that he didn't know that his friend was actually still alive, and then it flashes back to, like, I want to say maybe I don't remember. It was like a few days after Star Trek 6.
But before you continue, the chat is calling me out and telling me that apparently had announced that they were cancer free and they were diagnosed in 22 and 23. I had not heard that part of it. So if that's true, then I apologize for causing alarm. I had just heard this as though this was a very recent thing. So if he's in remission, then I'm mistaken and I apologize.
Yeah, him and the daughter were diagnosed a year apart. And I just wasn't. I didn't finish reading the article. I just got as far as I was under the impression that he didn't have it anymore. But
Okay.
he had melanoma.
I only got Lorne's part of the story. That's what I saw too. Just the headline.
I think she had breast cancer. He had melanoma, and in typical Shatner fashion, he was like, "I'm going to be fine," and kept it moving.
That man, it's like it's amazing too, because it's like I've been traveling lately, and there's been a couple of airports that have had his face up on some of their LCD screens advertising something or other. That man looks like he's 60 years old. I have no idea what eldritch sorcery he's using to keep himself looking the way he does. He's in incredible shape. I've got to attribute it to the horse riding and all of his outdoor stuff, but it's like, man, he looks great.
He does. He does. So it takes you to the final. It takes you to the final voyage of that version of the Enterprise. And he does a lot of really cool stuff that kind of it's a lot of fan servicey stuff. The book ends where there's this massive space battle and he gets stolen by the Borg. And then in the next book, the Borg bring him back. And at the end of that book, he's he's alive in the main universe. And they do a really neat story where McCoy is actually really struggling with the fact that Kirk and Scotty and Spock are youthful and he is older than dirt. He's a little resentful, but you get a couple of cool Captain Kirk stories and you're watching him kind of struggle with being in the next gen timeline and blah 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 blah. And they tease it, they drop they tease it a little bit in the last season of Picard. I'll give them their due. The Talos was actually was on it.
There's a plaque in the museum that, like, it's a blink and you miss it kind of thing, right?
Yeah. They walk past Kirk's casket, but it's like in a containment field because of I would presume because of the Nexus radiation they're doing something with Kirk's body. You don't get a chance to really dive into it. He always teased that if he was able to come back, that he would have done it, and then the Roddenberry Institute just ran with it, and they don't tell you how they do it, but they resurrect Kirk, and then Kirk jumps to the Kelvin timeline to say goodbye to Spock.
I would imagine that the Borg brought Kirk back in this timeline because Kirk had absorbed the Borg. That just seems like the kind of story that he would write. It's like resistance is futile. It's like bring me back to Earth.
Resistance is futile sounds like something he would say to the Borg Queen.
Yep. That's then he'd better. Yeah, that would be Kirk to a T. Our next story is Johnny Depp surprises Comic-Con audiences Ebenezer Scrooge for Ebenezer: A Christmas Carol. And there's a good look at him in the makeup and costume.
Is this a Tim Burton thing?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't.
Spoiler alert, he's just Jack Sparrow again.
Are you going to be a killjoy on this?
He just was doing the Jack Sparrow thing again.
Do you think that when Johnny Depp gets a script, his first question is, what hat do I get to wear?
Yes.
That would be my first question. Christmas came early to San Diego Comic-Con attendees, even if it was accompanied by a heaping helping of humbug. Ebenezer: A Christmas Carol, Ty West's upcoming adaptation of Charles Dickens' literary classic A Christmas Carol, didn't have a presentation at the famous Hall H or any other Comic-Con stage. Instead, it delivered a surprise appearance by star Johnny Depp, who greeted the Comic-Con crowds in character as Ebenezer Scrooge. The encounter took place in San Diego's Gaslamp District, which hosts many of Comic-Con's off-site events. According to Deadline, Paramount built a Dickensian Christmas village in the area, with shops and snow and all the trimmings. One building was called Scrooge and Marley, which anyone who knows A Christmas Carol, which is pretty much everyone above the age of 5, knows is the money-lending and debt-collecting business run by Scrooge after the passing of his business partner, Jacob Marley. First, some carolers walked through the door to regale onlookers with Christmas classics, only for someone playing Ebenezer Scrooge to sneer at them from the window. But the crowds that surrounded Scrooge and Marley were taken by surprise when Dickens' infamous miser emerged in full 1800s winter dress, with a top hat, coat, and cane, played by Johnny Depp. Depp greeted the cheering crowd in character as Scrooge, never once breaking amid the applause and shouts, admonishing them about celebrating Christmas. When one member of the audience shouted, "Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge," he replied, "Don't ever say that again," with a sneer one would expect from a pre-redemption Scrooge. Deadline reports that Depp stayed outside and traded barbs with the Comic-Con crowd for over an hour, in July, wearing a heavy coat, a wig, and what looked like makeup and prosthetics on his face, proving once again his dedication to his craft and his role as an entertainer. What makes the appearance even better is that Ebenezer: A Christmas Carol didn't have a panel at Comic-Con. Paramount chose to go a much different route, and this marketing gimmick shockingly got just as much attention as the big presentations inside the San Diego Convention Center. That being said, Paramount did release a trailer for the film, which will arrive in theaters on November 13th, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, ushering in the Christmas season before the traditional start. Much like its star's Comic-Con appearance, the Ebenezer trailer is wisely selling the movie as the return of Johnny Depp. While Depp has made some small films since his attempted cancellation, Ebenezer is his first big studio release in a long time, and Paramount is selling it as the comeback audiences have been craving. The trailer invokes some of Depp's past roles, specifically a trio of his more outlandish characters, including Captain Jack Sparrow, almost as if to rub Disney's nose in it, and then assures moviegoers that they'll soon be able to add his version of Ebenezer Scrooge to that list. And based on the trailer and his live performance at Comic-Con, Depp's Scrooge will be in keeping with his reputation for crafting bizarre characters who are at once fantastical and believable, seemingly otherworldly beings who are eminently human. The rest of the cast includes Rupert Grint as Bob Cratchit, Sam Claflin as Scrooge's nephew Fred, Daisy Ridley as Fred's wife, Emily, and Ian McKellen as the ghost of Jacob Marley. But Johnny Depp is the star, and Paramount knows it, using the trailer and the Comic-Con appearance to show the audience that one of his generation's greatest entertainers is taking the stage again at a theater near them as one of the most celebrated characters ever created.
I don't understand why we're still doing adaptations of Christmas Carol. It's been done to perfection.
You're going to mention the Muppet Christmas Carol.
It's the most perfect version of it that's ever existed.
I actually really love A Christmas Carol, and I don't know why. I'm not traditionally a Christmassy kind of guy, but there's something about that story that I really enjoy, and so I'm actually kind of excited about this. And I thought that the cast sounded like it's a great cast, although
I'm happy
Rupert Grint as Bob Cratchit kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, Ron Weasley as Bob Cratchit. That's an interest. I feel like somebody literally said in the casting department, "What about Ron Weasley as Bob Cratchit?"
Rupert Grint he shows up every once in a while. He's a decent character actor these days. He was in the ABC murders that Amazon did. I think Malkovich played Poirot in that one.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Trish, this is one that I actually expected you to have an opinion on.
I mean, the movie itself is whatever, but I'm happy for Johnny Depp. You know, and I want this to be successful for him because, you know, it was a rough road there for a while.
It was indeed.
So are you not a Christmas Carol fan then?
I mean, I don't have anything against it. It's not a go-to for me, but like I love Christmas in general, so you know.
I think
You keep it in your heart all year long.
You know, I could appreciate it for that. I can't say it's a story that makes me excited, but you know.
Ian McKellen as Marley, I think, is going to be fun.
Yeah, but that's only like 5 minutes of screen time, maybe.
Yeah, but well, okay. I'm going to be the only guy excited about this one.
No, I want to see this because
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to march over you, Martin. I apologize.
Well, I think Christmas Carol is one of the great novels of the English language. It's spectacular, and I'm really looking forward to this myself. I just, Marley is actually a pretty small part of the story.
I think the other Christmas Carol adaptation that I think of when I think of it, besides the Muppet one, is actually one where Patrick Stewart played Scrooge, and I thought that he did a great job as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm excited to see him doing it, and I agree, Marv, with you that yes, I get some Jack Sparrow in the performance, but I think he's going to bring more to it than that. I'm curious to see how it's going to go.
It can't be worse than Mordecai.
I mean, he did Jack Sparrow also as Sweeney Todd, and I liked Sweeney Todd, so I think I could like this. It's just I'm going to compare it to the Muppets the entire time. I'm going to be like, oh, Ian McKellen's not singing the song.
Final story. Biden judge extends order blocking Paramount Warner Brothers merger for another 2 weeks as CNN hangs in the balance.
So there's been an update to this that we actually have to do an article on tomorrow. Paramount has agreed to take this to trial and waive preliminary hearings because they know that they're just going to drag their feet and continue to drag it out. So this has now been delayed until June of 2027.
So should I read the article or do you just want to summarize it?
No, I mean, you can read the article because we talk about like the political issues with it because this is definitely all politics. Okay. None of these people had a problem when Disney bought Fox, and it is 12 Democrat attorneys general and a Biden appointee judge trying to save CNN. That's all this is.
The legal battle over the proposed $111 billion Paramount Warner Brothers merger is dragging on, and once again, it was a Biden-appointed federal judge who prevented the deal from moving forward after approval was received by the Trump DOJ. On Thursday, U.S. District Judge, I'm going to murder this name, I know, Araceli Martinez-Alguin, I hope, extended the temporary restraining order blocking Paramount and Warner Brothers from closing their proposed merger for another 14 days, meaning the companies cannot complete the transaction before August 18th. The extension comes just days after the same judge issued the original restraining order, ensuring one of the largest media mergers in recent history remains frozen while legal challenges continue. Judge Martinez-Alguin, who was nominated to the federal bench by President Joe Biden and confirmed in 2023, is scheduled to hear arguments on August 3rd over whether the temporary restraining order should become a preliminary injunction. If granted, that injunction could keep the merger from closing for months while the broader lawsuit works its way through federal court.
So essentially what was going to happen here is if they just let it continue to go, it would have just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. The fastest resolution to this is just to be like, we waive the rights to the preliminary hearing. Let's just go to trial. I mean, because Paramount tried to actually, they asked for a 3-day evidentiary hearing in August, and the attorneys general all shouted them down, and said no.
Thursday's ruling does not decide the merits of the case, but it does mark the second time Martinez-Alguin has prevented Paramount and Warner Brothers from completing the merger. Paramount has asked for a 3-day evidentiary hearing later in August, arguing it should be permitted to cross-examine witnesses presented by the states challenging the transaction. The coalition of states has opposed that request, arguing Paramount is effectively attempting to accelerate portions of the trial process before they have sufficient time to prepare. While the case will ultimately be decided under federal antitrust law, the political backdrop surrounding the lawsuit has become increasingly difficult to ignore. The lawsuit seeking to block the merger was filed by a coalition of 12 Democratic attorneys general led by California Attorney General Rob Bonta. Now the case is being overseen by a Biden-appointed federal judge who has twice ruled to keep the merger from closing while litigation proceeds. Those are the objective facts, and they inevitably raise questions about the political optics surrounding one of the entertainment industry's most consequential legal battles. Whether politics ultimately plays any role in the final outcome remains to be seen. The court's decision must ultimately rest on the legal arguments presented by both sides. Nevertheless, with an all-Democrat coalition bringing the lawsuit and a Biden-appointed judge overseeing the case, the political context is certain to remain part of the public discussion. The lawsuit has also prompted questions about consistency in antitrust enforcement. Disney's acquisition of most of 21st Century Fox created one of the largest entertainment companies in history and ultimately received regulatory approval. Now Paramount and Warner Brothers face coordinated legal action from a coalition of Democratic attorneys general before their merger has even been allowed to close. Supporters of the lawsuit argue the current transaction presents unique competitive concerns. Critics counter that the differing treatment raises legitimate questions about whether similar media mergers are being evaluated under the same standards. Another notable wrinkle is what the merger would mean for CNN, which would become part of the combined company if the deal proceeds. CNN has long been viewed by many conservatives as a left-leaning news outlet, and President Donald Trump has repeatedly accused the network of acting as an arm of the Democratic Party and producing fake news. The prospect of the network ultimately falling under the control of David Ellison, who is widely viewed as having a friendlier relationship with President Trump, has only intensified public interest in the merger as political and legal battles continue. The Writers Guild of America has separately filed its own lawsuit seeking to stop the merger. The union argues combining Paramount and Warner Brothers would further consolidate power among major Hollywood studios, reduce opportunities for writers, suppress compensation, and lead to increasingly homogenized entertainment. Judge Martinez-Alguin ruled Thursday that the WGA's request for an injunction will proceed on the same timetable as the state's challenge. Both matters are expected to be heard during the August 3rd proceedings. Paramount continues to argue that the merger is essential if the company hopes to compete against increasingly dominant streaming giants such as Netflix, Amazon, and other technology companies. The studio has argued that blocking the transaction would actually strengthen those larger competitors while preventing Paramount and Warner Brothers from achieving the scale necessary to remain competitive in today's entertainment marketplace. For now, however, those arguments have not persuaded the court to lift the restraining order. The next major hearing is set for August 3rd, when Judge Martinez-Alguin will decide whether the temporary restraining order should become a preliminary injunction. That decision could determine whether Paramount and Warner Brothers move one step closer to completing one of Hollywood's biggest mergers or remain tied up in court for months. Regardless of how the judge ultimately rules, this case has already become more than just another antitrust dispute. With an all-Democrat coalition of attorneys general bringing the lawsuit and a Biden-appointed judge twice preventing the merger from moving forward, the legal fight is unfolding under political circumstances that are unlikely to stop drawing scrutiny as the case continues.
Yeah, they basically were just like, look, we know we're going to win at trial, so just let's go to the trial. Let's just do it.
Well,
It's the DOJ. This is political hackery. It's political theater. It is, and I guarantee you, one of these AGs has said to David Ellison on the side, off the record, probably that hack from California has said, if you drop CNN from this sale, this will all go away.
Well, it's rules for thee, not for me. Disney was able to do what they were able to do because the Iger company used to donate to the right people, and the Ellisons do not. So we do what we do. Typical rules for radicals nonsense. We abuse political authority to crush your political rivals, enemies, and opponents. And The whole intent of this was to just drag this out in court so that the deadline expires and Paramount has to pay copious amounts of money for
That's
not
gonna
doing
happen.
the deal, and they're punished for having the audacity to want to try it, play it down the middle.
Yep. So because it's going to go beyond the September 1st deadline, they're going to have to pay. I think it's something like $7 million a day
Mm-hmm.
until
Ooh.
June 2027.
That's the goal. That's what they're really wanting to do, is just bleed them as much as possible.
Yep. And I guarantee you, if they drop CNN from this sale, then all of a sudden all of this will go away. They just don't want to lose CNN.
Meanwhile, CNN has no place to go. It's actually worthless. It had a less than zero valuation. The stupid little CNN Plus thing bombed harder than anybody could have ever imagined. No one's going to come up and scoop it up. It's just going to go. It's just going to be dusted. I have suspicions that we saw certain things happening on certain social media platforms where certain creators had algorithms changed to try to make room for MS Now and CNN, depending upon what their futures were. But at the end of the day, it's still worth nothing. No one cares. No one watches it. So at least let it try to live on and go back to what Ted Turner had initially envisioned, which was it was an actual news network that he used to lambast his enemies, just like how he
Right.
did on the planet.
All right, we've got a couple of super chats that we got to get to before we get out of here for the night. The first one's from Mark Field for $4.99, saying thank you for another great show. Thank you for being here, Mark, and thank you for your support. We greatly appreciate it, and are always happy to have you here. And next up is Chef Eddie for $5, saying, Trish, did you see that David Lee Roth is now available to be the lead singer for Quiet Riot now after canceling all his concerts?
Listen, I've heard him sing recently. That was probably for the best.
Ooh.
That he canceled those. I mean, I hope it's not because anything's wrong. And it's
Well,
he's just like, I can't do this.
If he took the job and then didn't sing, then it would be the most Quiet
No.
Riot thing ever.
I think Chef Eddie's being I think he's being a little cheeky by saying that. Really, it's just that David Lee Roth canceled basically all of his concert dates. And Quiet Riot is looking for a singer, so it's kind of like, ooh, it can be David Lee Roth. But he really did cancel dates, and I just hope it's because he's realizing that maybe he shouldn't be going out there anymore, and not because there's some larger issue going on with him. But it even got Sammy Hagar, who, they throw barbs at each other all the time. Sammy Hagar said something nice about it, kind of like similar to what I said, and then said he can join him and Michael Anthony on stage in Vegas for Sammy Hagar's residency. That was like a pretty chill, nice statement, really.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us tonight. Does anybody on the panel have anything to pitch before we call it out?
And Forecast AM comes back Monday 10 a.m. And look out for video. I have 3 videos ready to go that are going to be releasing between tomorrow and Monday.
Trish and Martin?
Oh, and Thursday night M Forecast, we are actually doing our 8,000 subscriber celebration then.
Oh,
Big one. Yeah, we don't have any Lost Guys coming out soon that I know of, so we will keep you guys apprised of when we start getting those out again.
Yep.
Kevin?
I'll have a surprise for everybody next week.
Oh, this is exciting.
I
You
need
gonna give us any more of a tease, or is that it?
No, that's it.
All right, fine.
Your little tease.
Surprises. There is no surprise.
I actually have something special to announce as well, although I'm not sure if I want to go into the full details. I guess I will. There's nothing wrong with doing it. Next Tuesday is going to be our year anniversary of doing the Lorn and Apollo show. Kevin, I wasn't sure if you were aware of that. It's actually technically 1 day short. but it will be our 1 year celebration. And in addition to that, we are going to have Chad Arndt and his writing partner on. They are often in our chat. I'm not sure if he's released what his handle is, but he is the guy that is often talking about snouts. And so we are going to be discussing his development of a script that he's trying to get made into a movie. We'll discuss how he got into that process and writing the script and what he's trying to put together. Hope you guys will all join us for the celebration. It's going to be a big deal for him and for us as it's the 1 year anniversary. Hope you all will join us then. Until then, all of you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.
The bell rings every morning. It's off to school and work. Waiting for some fun while my boss acts like a jerk. Pro show afternoons. Midnight sketch can't come too soon. The afternoon and sketch can't come too soon. But at night I'm filled with dread. I know just what I'll do instead. Come on and follow me. It's time you see for Lorn and Apollo. Time to laugh and learn. Come feel the burn of what the fandom was. What random fun doesn't escape? Isn't it great? Late night with Lorn and Apollo.